In our case, the YieldFX deposits are held in numbered accounts in the name of the depositor.
So we have somebody new on today. Well, at least new in terms of what they're going to be talking about today. We did have Rajiv on before talking about Diamond Standard, but today we're going to be talking about YieldFX. Rajiv, welcome.
Thanks, Brandon. It's great to be back.
Absolutely. So we're going to dive right into this. Can you explain what YieldFX is and why it's needed?
Absolutely. So YieldFX is a DLT-based bank deposit product that gives retail investors instant access to high-yield deposit accounts in different parts of the world. YieldFX offers a compelling product experience geared more towards today's tech-savvy or app-savvy investor. There are no lock-ins or minimums. Interest is credited on a daily basis. The interest rates are market-beating. Investors can also swap between different currencies in real time with zero fees, low FX spreads, and instant settlement. In essence, with YieldFX, investors can trade foreign currency deposits with the same simplicity as they would stocks on an app like Robinhood. There are obviously a number of other products out there, or money market funds or securities. It's so important to understand that while the YieldFX deposits are represented as currency-specific tokens, the deposits themselves are held by a global network of partner banks and are insured, making them the YieldFX investments both safe and a lucrative alternative to other digital investments.
Well, this is certainly important from a perspective of being able to invest in these other currencies and get the yield opportunities that they might have in terms of treasuries or so forth. But I'm also interested in just the aspect of the currency exchange. We all walk through airports and we see those currency exchanges. Does this have any use in that front?
Absolutely. So our bigger objective, if you may, is to move a lot of the FX trading on-chain or decentralized, right? A core part of our platform is the decentralized FX trading, which can drastically reduce spreads on the retail side, as well as the fees associated with it. And it's also critical to a platform. So if I say, for example, you can swap from the dollar to the pound for 3 days and move it back to the dollar, it's only feasible if the fees are minimal. And that's a key part of our platform.
Okay, so the next thing I want to get into, you've already kind of touched on this, but I do want to kind of tease out a little bit as to why it makes sense to tokenize these deposits, and then maybe we can get into why you chose Hedera.
Absolutely. So tokenization plays a critical role on a platform, right? We tokenize not only the deposits, but also the accounts and the customer identities. We sort of create a global banking identity for each customer that onboards with us, right? It simplifies treasury management functions, the tokenization across. We have a global network of partner banks. So it makes treasury management very easy. It brings transparency. It instills trust, both for the customer as well as for the partner banks, making them more amenable to work with us. Being a fintech company, there's always some reluctance otherwise. It enables decentralized FX trading, as we spoke, which reduces costs and makes short-term FX investments viable. More importantly, it also makes these deposits programmable and enables new use cases such as, say, rent deposits or escrows or use in global trade.
What are the differences between this and stablecoins? We see stablecoins are probably the first killer use case. We see it in the news a lot. We have companies going public, such as Circle. So what's the main difference between this and a stablecoin?
So the key difference here is that, first of all, most stable coins can be considered as securities, right? Because there is a pool of money being managed by somebody else. In our case, the YieldFX deposits are held in numbered accounts in the name of the depositor with a partner bank in some part of the world, depending on the currency they choose. It is also multi-currency. So most stable coins tend to be a single currency, right? But if you look at global economies, and especially in the current political and geopolitical situation, every currency has its value and they will stick to that. And it's very difficult to convince everyone to work with the same currency or the same stable coin. Our platform does offer an alternative to the typical or the traditional stable coin.
What phase is your business in right now, and when are people going to be able to participate in this?
Absolutely. So we started late last year, and it's been bootstrapped so far. We have a beta product operational on mainnet that we're testing with a series of trading contests held at different business schools. We just concluded one in Harvard a few weeks ago. And this is something, the trading contest, something we also want to go live with for the larger Hedera community, right? There will be prizes, there will be things, and it is play money, but everything else is real, from the costs associated with the transactions to the real-time FX rates and the settlement. And that is something we hope to open it up to the Hedera community maybe the middle of next month. From a product standpoint, we also have a partnership with a established FX player. We are finalizing agreements with banks in multiple countries. By the way, we also did receive a grant from Hedera recently from the HBAR Foundation. Our plan is to go live with some initial use cases in August and then close a round of funding and go for a full launch by the end of the year.
All right, let's make this a little bit more real for the viewers. How would this be used from day to day by somebody who has this application?
So on a day-to-day basis, say I have money sitting around in the US and maybe I have $20,000 sitting in markets. Markets is offer great interest rates, right? But they'll still be giving me 3.5%. I could technically move the money to the Indian rupee or maybe the Turkish lira or the Icelandic krona, for example, with 11%. And I'm going to increase my yield by over 100% by doing that, with the same assurance that I would get from a deposit product. The other use cases I would think would be think rent deposits, right? So in every state in the country, rent deposits are meant to be held in interest-bearing bank accounts in the name of the depositor. But that never happens. Even with the large landlords with like 100,000 apartments, it's a very complex process and they lose money. So imagine using this as an alternative to that, where depositors are happy because they get better interest rates. They see the money growing. They have the assurance that the money actually exists. And the landlords are happy because they have zero operating costs, and it's a win-win for everybody. So the number of use cases we think that we can enable very quickly with this.
So now I want to go back to, why you chose Hedera. Of course, you're getting support from the Hedera Foundation, but what are some of the other reasons why you decided to go with Hedera for this app?
So we've worked with Hedera in the past. There are multiple value propositions. The first thing, obviously, the obvious ones are the scalability, the low costs, but also the very strong governance model, right? We feel it is more in tune with institutional needs and corporate needs versus other models, and also the capabilities of the network itself. We leverage the Hedera token service in a big way. So I think all of those combined, it reduces both development and operational costs for us, as well as allows us to go to market faster than we typically would.
All right. Well, you're preaching to the choir here. The last thing that I want to get into is you talked about how you want to get the Hedera community involved, probably starting in August. The actual application is going to be launching towards the end of the year. Is there anything else that you'd like to pass on to the Hedera community that they should know?
Yeah. So one key thing is that we do have a project token coming soon. It's a key piece of the puzzle that will be used to both build liquidity for our FX trading platform, as well as an incentive for customer acquisition and retention. So that's something they should look out for. We'll have a white paper out soon, and we'll start some initial distributions, some giveaways, and also that would be the prize for our trading contest.
All right, that makes perfect sense. Rajiv, we appreciate you hopping on today. We love that you're staying in the Hedera ecosystem. You're still remaining an advisor for Diamond Standard, but it shows a lot when you build one project on Hedera and then you move on to another project and you continue to utilize what's going on in the Hedera ecosystem. Thanks for hopping on today, telling us all about YieldFX, and good luck.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Brandon.
I'm now posting these interviews of Hedera builders independently to my channel. The community, influencers, and media outlets are free to use this content to spread the word on what's being built on Hedera. Once they're all uploaded, you'll be able to go to my channel and search for whatever topic or team you're interested in to find more information. Or you'll be able to get the most recent Hedera news by watching the latest HBAR weekly update. So check them out.